Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we are with Brian, which is the founder of Attendant.com. So Brian, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Hey, Harry, how's it going? When I think of different keys to success that I would suggest to other people, I think some of them, a strong work ethic. I think you have to be kind of willing to put in the extra time, have that desire to be successful and that kind of ambition. I think there needs to be, continuous learning and self-improvement, as you kind of progress through your business and through your career, in order to, achieve some success. Kind of in parallel to that, but I would say more from a business perspective, I think the abilities to adapt to change, what we're currently doing now is not what we started out doing as a software company.
Absolutely.
It evolved as we found, our footing for what worked best for us. I think, being persistent, and being, resilient is certainly part of a small business owner. You're going to face, challenges that you might want to ask for help for, and sometimes it's just not there because it's kind of your business, and you kind of have to make those decisions, and they're hard, and you just kind of have to get it through it sometimes. And then I would also say, being creative about how you leverage technology. If you're able to think outside of the box and figure out a way to do something either better or more efficiently, than your competition, and kind of create an edge for yourself. I think that can also pave the way for success.
Yeah. Brian, so tell us, why do you decide to become a tech entrepreneur? Do you have a tech business before? What happened there?
Yeah, so I actually started out in college as a working for somebody who was buying and selling tickets already. It was kind of an interesting time. It was I was in college in 2002, and it was right when computers, with high-speed connections were becoming the best way to buy tickets. Before, people used to kind of line up in front of the stores, like record stores, to buy tickets when they went on sale. They would sit outside on the sidewalk. And now, because of computers and the internet, you could go on Ticketmaster and buy tickets very quickly. And if you had 10 computers, you could buy 10 pairs of tickets very, very quickly. And so when I came to college at the University of Missouri in 2000, around 2000, I started working for somebody who was taking orders from ticket brokers, saying, hey, if you can get these seats for us, we will pay you $5 a ticket. And so, I would go to the computer lab and work for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, get 16 tickets and make $80. And, I was like,
Wow.
For somebody in college to make, like 80
Wow.
bucks in like an hour is great, and it wasn't always like, it's not like a 40-hour a week job. And sometimes you wouldn't always get, all the tickets, but it was exciting and it was, kind of fun. It was certainly better than, working at a computer lab. And so, I did that throughout college. I got a computer science undergraduate degree, but I was not very good at programming. I kind of had like a B or a C average. I didn't like it. I always was more geared towards business. I kind of like, the buying and the selling of the tickets and kind of that thing. And when I finished undergraduate college, which was in 2002, it was right when there was the big dot-com bust, with it was like the pets.com bust, and there were just a ton of good engineers out on the market. I did not feel strong at all about my skill set, and so I decided to go get my MBA. While I was getting my MBA, I kind of bought in with a guy who I had been doing tickets with, and started doing software with him, or excuse me, started doing tickets with him full time. And we continued to do tickets together until like 2009 when he split off. Um, I kept doing tickets and I was really enjoying it until around 2013. And around 2013, I had been, using our software that I was kind of like starting to develop internally for our own purposes to have better operations. So one of the challenges with selling tickets is if you have a pair of front row seats for Taylor Swift or Metallica or one of these concerts, and you have them up on these 10 different secondary marketplaces, whether it's StubHub or Vivid Seats or back in the time it was eBay, and you sell these tickets more than once, it's a very bad consumer experience because you only have one pair of tickets, and you can't just get another pair of tickets easily. It's not like if I have iPhones and I oversell too many iPhones, I can just call the supplier. So, our software was developed out of a need for our ticket company where it would help us keep our inventory live, by monitoring our emails for sales. And when we got a sale, it would update our inventory, kind of in a much more real-time process. And eventually this got
So you guys
yeah.
developed this software?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we kind of developed this process of like, hey, we would get an email notification for a sale, and then we would delete it, the record from like we had like a file upload that we would send to these companies, that was like a comma separated file, and it would have a list of all the inventory and our prices and all that. And so then we would delete it out of this comma separated file and then upload it, automatically instead of having to do this manual process. So we were kind of, doing like an FTP upload after we would parse the email and delete it from the CSV file.
But how do you know that you could make money with this?
I didn't at all. We were doing it because it was almost like for our own internal survival. It was taking up so much time. The next day we would double sell all these tickets, and it was a bad experience for like our team and our clients, that it was just like, hey, let's try and remove some of this friction from the process and see if we can automate something. We had already been familiar with, like I said, I had a computer science degree, and there was already some technology involved in the ticket ecosystem with kind of like these file uploads and things like that. So there was a background for it that I kind of got to build upon. But like I said, coming out of school, I was not confident at all in my programming skills. I was not like a standout programmer or anything. And so, that's kind of, we started, hiring, like an engineer or a contractor, internationally as well to, help us develop the software. Yeah. And then, once we were up and using it for our own company, the exchanges, these bigger companies where we sell tickets through, started to notice because our metrics for them were so good. And one thing where it did generate a little bit of money for us was our metrics were so good with them that they actually started giving us a rebate on our sales because, our sales took, because we were like, there was something like an expectation of like 95 at the time, which was about, probably 10 to 15 years ago now, there was an expectation that like, hey, 95 to 97% of the orders you have to, hit. And so we were hitting 99%, and so we would qualify for because it was automated. So, you know what I mean? It was kind of like not cheating, but it wasn't going to mess up, And so that was eventually how I ended up kind of getting into the software business. I really liked being a ticket broker. It's different than software because it's kind of
Oh,
like being
completely different ball game. A tech company is completely different ball game, yeah?
Mhm. Yeah, because being a ticket broker, it's kind of like being a stockbroker versus like owning like kind of like a stock exchange. So if you own the stock exchange, just like us as a software company or as like a credit card processor like Visa, you don't really have a ton of risk out there. Most of it is like, hey, we're going to take a small percentage of each transaction and, go about our business. We try and make the best product, streamline things, when you're a ticket broker or a stock trader using one of these platforms, you can make or lose tens of thousands of dollars. We see clients will make $50,000 on a tour, and then they might lose $20,000 on a tour. And
Wow.
so yeah, you have a totally different level of risk than if hey, I'd say we're going to make anywhere from 2 to 5% or something on every transaction. you know, and try and, monetize that way. Of course, we want our clients to be successful and them to make money, but it's like for us, it's more of a focus of like just making sure that we have transactions passing through the system and that the system stays up and, is real time because as a transaction based company, where it's like we're taking a percentage of each transaction, if our software goes down, if we're offline, we might never see that transaction again. It could
Absolutely.
transact somewhere else, just like if you can't take credit cards as a business and then somebody says, okay, well, I'll just pay cash, now Visa loses that money. So there's kind of that part of it where it's much more of being a reliable partner to our clients and, being stable, uptime, is extremely important to them. Especially, our clients will sell tickets, sometimes 15 minutes before an event starts. And so if our
Wow.
system yeah, it's very, very real time, you know. And so,
So
if
how
our
you manage
system,
to make the technology to work? Because number one, so you guys start to develop the software to actually to operate better internally, and after you discovered that using this software as a service, you guys can make a little bit more. So it was your partners who tell us that they want to partner with you because of the results you have.
yeah, it was actually, on these big exchanges that we sell through where we were having very good metrics, they actually approached us, one of them, which was Vivid Seats, who's gone
Wow.
public, since then. So they said they didn't do too bad either. And they actually approached us and said, hey, we will pay for, the first 25 clients for 6 months of, the service, if you'll onboard them and kind of start getting it going. Um, and so that was for me kind of the day that I was like, okay, I guess it's time to do this. I had kind of avoided it at the start because I liked being a ticket broker. I liked,
Mhm.
those highs and those lows and that excitement. But in the end, I felt like I would be kind of foolish to pass up this opportunity where somebody was offering me,
Absolutely. The
money to do.
valuation, the tech company is way better and way higher than the ticker brokerage business, if we can call it, because this technology it worth way more, especially you guys have clients and tractions. Do you guys at some point needed any funding to develop the software, or you just bootstrap from the beginning?
Yeah, it was mostly bootstrapped. We had a little bit of money from friends
It's
and
expensive.
family.
It's expensive to build this kind of technology, right?
Yeah, at one point, I think, between me and my business partners, we were, probably in the whole, we had each put in 6 figures. We were probably in the whole 400,000 or 500,000 dollars. Um,
To
you
build the
know,
whole engine,
I'm sorry.
to build the whole engine, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
Well,
because
it's
it was
expensive, yeah. It's
yeah,
expensive. So if you
yeah,
can
and it was
please.
difficult because when we first started, we each put in about I think about $40,000 into it, and then we kind of burned through that, not overnight, but we went through it, and we had to make a decision, about how confident we were, and so we
How
definitely have to be
confident
willing.
you were that if you guys put all this kind of money, 500,000, that you can make it back?
Yeah, I was probably too confident,
I mean,
but I
you've been doing it for a long time now, so you know your business really
market.
well. But it
Yeah.
still is tech is different, and tech always needs money, always need innovation. The software always need improvements and updates and things like that, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so, we now have, like engineering staff and real business as far as, we have a mix of US and international operations and engineering and, product managers and all of that stuff. But, in 2014 it was kind of, like I said, four or five of us. Um
How about
and,
these
and now,
big companies? They haven't tried to buy you out, guys, at some point?
you know, I I've explored that, but just a little bit. We get a lot of solicitations, and so, you know, I've kind of taken a meeting in the past, and I, I think it's something where I'm still enjoying it, and I'm in my
If
40s,
you
and
want to sell it, you can sell it. Yeah, they will buy it. They will take it
sure,
out of the
yeah,
hands from you, right?
yeah, and when I was starting it, I never that wasn't really where my mindset was either. And I'm sure a lot of people are like that. It's not like I went in there and I said, "Oh, the SaaS model trades at the highest multiplier, and how can I drive up our EBITDA?" It wasn't really like that. Um,
You just build it to make it more efficient for yourself, to make more money for yourself, and you guys create
yeah,
amazing, right?
yep,
By
exactly.
trying to solve your own problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really, one of the things I would say is, if you identify a need, in your industry, especially if there's something where, hey, you've come out with something that your company is using and nobody else has it, and you're like, oh, do you think it has value? Well, somebody else probably values that also. It's not, you're not the only one, there's, even within the ticket broker community, there's many thousands of ticket brokers, and we're a very small niche industry, but we've been able to build a software company that has reoccurring revenue in millions of dollars,
Wow,
in
that's very impressive. Very
yeah,
impressive.
and it doesn't have to be the biggest industry, if you have the right customers, and the right product, it can work, on any level. You might not be Amazon in the end, but at the same time, like, there's a place for you to have a career and a healthy lifestyle.
What was your biggest challenge, and how have you overcome that challenge?
Our biggest challenge was COVID for sure.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Yeah, because there is no events. Oh my God.
Yeah, and one of the worst part about that is, with our business model, if you think of kind of how I described where our clients are selling and then we're paying them when they sell, and we take a small percentage of each transaction. And so what happened is we paid our clients for these events, and then all of a sudden all of them got canceled. And
Ah,
so they owed us a ton of money, because we had paid them, and we owed all this money to where we had sold those tickets to, whether it was StubHub or SeatGeek or Ticketmaster, et cetera. And so, it was very scary during that time period. We were owed, millions of dollars from, our clients who,
yeah, because
we
it
did not
happened
know that
overnight,
well.
right? Overnight. I remember also we had an event in Singapore. We were selling the tickets and everything got
Mhm.
canceled. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, it was like March 12th of 2020. I think, the National Basketball Association here, the NBA, I think canceled all their games. And, that made it very real for me. We were set to pay our clients, that day. I think, that day to post on Friday or whatever it was, millions of dollars, and, had to decide, are we going to send this payment, knowing the events are probably going to get canceled because of, COVID, or are we going to stop this payment and then have to deal with this? And it was very challenging. We had to come up with creative solutions. Once our industry started coming back. Sorry, there's an ambulance. once our industry started coming back, we were still owed money by clients. And, we were making payment terms to these exchanges that we owed money to. And so our clients, you know, wanted to sell tickets with us, but they said, we can't sell tickets with you if we owe you $50,000 and you're just going to keep all $50,000 because we need money
We
also.
owe you. Yeah.
So what we had to do was we kind of had to come up with a solution that said, hey, you sell tickets through us and we'll go 50-50 until your debt is paid off. So, if you sell $10,000 worth of tickets through us and, you owe $50,000, we'll take 5,000 and we'll give you 5,000 until, we're at zero and then you
Wow,
get
it's
all
amazing.
10,000. Yeah, it worked out, in the end. But it was tough because they didn't want to sell tickets to us because they owed us money, and they're like, well, so they were trying to think, well, should I try and sell my tickets through a different system and walk away from this debt? And so that was really scary, too. We didn't have like a relationship with them. We always thought it was us who would owe them money. They deliver the tickets, we get paid from A and then pay B. We didn't ever see this situation where 99% of the events were canceled. And then on top of that, because we were taking a small percentage of each transaction, but we would always, if the event was canceled, we would always refund 100%. So all of the money that we had made in the start of 2020, we lost it all because all of those events were canceled. And so it was just like
100%.
all of our revenue was gone. And we had no new revenue coming in either. So it was very scary for sure.
How you manage? You went to the gym because you definitely didn't jump out of a building. Yeah, you're stay here very happy. So how you manage to deal with this difficult time?
Yeah, I think that I will admit, I had to take a little bit of, I would say, like kind of a mental break also. I had a friend who has a lake house, and as a small business owner, I had kind of even, the weekend of my wedding, I remember I was kind of working a little bit. It's I think, I think that's kind of like just being willing to kind of put yourself out there sometimes. Not always, but for once, at the start, it was almost just kind of felt like this was like I had not had a job for so long. I started doing this right out of college, and it had been almost 20 years for me. So I did take some time off. I went to like the lake for like 2 or 3 weeks, with my family, and just didn't do a lot of work. And then ultimately, you know, uh, came up with a plan with our business partners, about how we need to try and handle some of the cash flows. And there was just a ton of uncertainty about when things would start. And thankfully, when things did come back, it came back really, really hot because all of that supply demand curve, the demand was still there. I think you've probably heard people talk about like revenge travel, or they're just spending so much money on entertainment. And we did kind of feel that way, that when it came back, it was going to come back strong. It was just trying to stay positive and wait for it, because you would see these waves of COVID where you think, okay, it's going to be okay. And then there'd be some spike, or new variant. And it was that was really heartbreaking sometimes. But,
it was a very situation like, no one could even imagine that this will happen. It never happened before in history while the whole world shut down. I think it's the first time. So it's not like, your lack of prediction. Is that no? Who will ever predict that something like this will happen? I was in a speaking tour. I was flying, doing a speaking tour until we get locked down in Peru for 111 days. We went there to do a speaking and to do, we have like 10,000 people waiting for us all over the Peru, and then we did, I think, one, and then that's it. The whole shutdown, and we're supposed to go back to UK, and we stay 111 days there in Peru. So COVID times was crazy, especially.
You were stuck in Peru for 110 days, 111 days?
111 days.
Wow.
In Lima.
In a hotel or something?
Lima.
Wow.
Well, at the end, we were considering, the promoters. They say, hi guys, what you have to be in quarantine, you have to be locked down. So we have two choices. You either can be in a room in a hotel in Lima, or we can rent a big house and put all the speakers there. And in Chaclacayo, which is on the skirts of Lima. Yeah, it was a place where it was closed. You have their own mini hospital there, so we didn't need to be inside the house all the time. We were allowed to walk and things like this because the whole place wasn't closed. So we say, okay, you know what? We take the house. So everyone, all the speakers that was in the speaking suit, they put us together in the same house. And we lived for 111 days. And this is where I learned the power of Zoom, because I didn't even know that this thing existed. we were used only to do live event. This is what we do. We do workshops and live events, awards, gala ceremony, things like that. This is what we do. We own, one of the things that we own is an event company. But based in the personal development workshops. So same thing. We used to do always live workshop with people. That's what we've been doing for so many years, and all of a sudden, it's not that we cannot do workshops anymore. It's that we cannot even live.
Can't even leave Peru.
Yeah, we were there. Not that I regret. I have a great time. Same like you say. We have a lot of rest, a lot of time off. The food there is amazing. We spend a beautiful time with people. But I was seeing the computer, my friends. I said, "What's happening? What's happening?" And eventually we need to go through the same path that you went. We had to figure out. Okay, we had to make some money. We need to keep paying our employees. We cannot get rid of them. So let's see how we can mitigate the whole thing in order to keep everyone. So we reduce a little bit of hours for our team until, I think we pivot a little bit, and we make some sales online that keep us alive during COVID times. Now the event industry here, at least in United Kingdom, I think worldwide, for us that do events, have become challenging. Is the hotels prices has increased, at least in United Kingdom, 20
So much here also, yes.
Sometimes 40%. So hotel prices are very high. Because in the personal development industry, now a lot of people learn online, so now they want to pay less for the tickets. So
of course,
the industry still is recuperating from that. I think the people is being more expensive, way more expensive now to get people out of the house than what it was before. Before we put an event, we advertise, we have 200 people, 500 people, very easy. It's always cost money, right? Always cost a lot of money to get people out of the house. Don't get me wrong. But now it's costing 5 times more.
Yeah. And so, I think, what you're kind of talking about, like what leads to success with, probably yourself, and I felt like for us as well was, being able to adapt to change, that has come through, whether that's just industries or trends because of COVID and, the different models, whether, Zoom, I think another one that I had on my list was, leveraging technology effectively, and I think, you could have said, hey, I'm not interested in figuring out how to do this through digital media. If I'm not going to do it in person, I'm not going to do it at all, and you figured out a way to make it work, so, adaptability to change, being persistent and resilient, saying, hey, at some point, this is going to come back, to where it was. And when it does come back, it's going to be better than ever, and then again,
So guys, what in those difficult times, because what we did, remember, we put a lot of energy in our company, in all of the digital stuff that we usually didn't put energy because we didn't have a lot of time. So we create big followings in social media, have over 250,000 followers. This is from COVID times, like before COVID. So before we were posting in the social media whatever we can because we didn't really need it. It was our workshop speakers and leaders. It is a well-known workshop, and people attended. And from we do it in Singapore, Dubai, Mexico, Peru, United Kingdom several times. People know the workshop. People know the product. So it was. It was we were selling it fine, but then we learned a lot about we put a lot of energy in everything that is online that we didn't have to put so much energy before because we were busy delivering the products and doing workshops sometimes several times. I think in 2018 we only stayed 4 months in London. The rest was traveling all over the world,
Wow.
speaking and delivering workshop. This is how we were doing it. And but that time of COVID, we sit with our IT developer and we start to refine a lot of processes and to get better at the social media and to get better online and things. And I did learn a lot out of this. So if it was in any way COVID, you got something positive out of it. You guys took that time to improve the software a little bit more now that there is no big operation, and you guys can think, okay, you know what, we have a space now. Let's make this better. So when we come back, we're gonna or you guys going to do much because of the cash flow issue.
No, we did keep our engineers on staff, and so I think
Oh wow, you
similarly,
keep all the stuff during COVID time. Wow.
yeah, and so I think similarly to you, where you kind of looked at other opportunities during that time, we did as well. Where if there was a piece of software that was very hard to move because during busy periods it was used so much, this was a great time to do that.
Exactly.
Or improve our accounting system, because now we had to kind of deal with all these different payments, and all these different cash flows and ins and outs that we didn't do before. And so we made our accounting system much more robust. And we're still able to use that same system today, without a lot of like operational overhead, 4 years later. So, again, I think, kind of the ability to kind of make the positive out of it. I think now that we've kind of come out of COVID, our company has a reputationally, people feel comfortable with us, even as a small business that, we were able to, meet all of our obligations and make things right, with everybody. And so, just having positive relationships there, helps the company's kind of reputation and branding as well.
And you come back strong. So what advice do you have for tech entrepreneurs out there that they are developing the product, right? But they haven't done the research, or they haven't done because you knew that you could make money out of this because you've been doing ticket broker for a long time, so you know how much money can be made. You knew that people will buy. You knew that if you improve your system, you can make more money yourself. And then out of luck, because you were performing so well, the big companies approach you and say, guys, I want to partner with you, right? Which is, I think, this is a very logical path to get a tech company off the ground.
Yeah.
Because you guys didn't need investors, right? Or if you didn't need investors at all. So whether the whole venture capitalist technology industry is based in completely different model. So why you guys didn't take the venture capital route? You didn't need it, right?
Yeah, I was hesitant to
I bet that they were knocking at your door offering you money.
Yeah, we had some opportunities, to explore that. I think one of the concerns was just, kind of being beholden to somebody, so I think if you take on somebody, whether it's even, just if they have a say in what happens, and they may have different goals than you, or different, ambitions or a different vision on how the company goes. And so for me at least, I wanted, to stick with my business partners, people who I trusted and who I knew shared kind of the same vision as I did. I only really wanted to go with, that bigger risk if we had to. You know, I don't think that it's wrong for companies to do that. I think, if it makes sense for your company, if you see a huge growth opportunity and you want to take that risk as, an entrepreneur, I think that's, part of being an entrepreneur is taking risks. It's your time, it's your money. What can you do with it? What can you make of it in this time that you have, and so for us, I wanted to have, I guess, more control and more say, and if you know just how the companies run, and that was why I think we kind of held off on that.
So, Brian, so if somebody wants to become a ticket broker or somebody wants to see how your platform works and everything, how they can find it and how the process work?
Yeah, sure. Generally our tool is for business to business users. So typically our clients have kind of dipped their toes into the water a little bit to say. Most of our clients got their start almost kind of accidentally, where they bought tickets for a show, they couldn't go, they sold them and they made money, and they said, hey, this is better than, working at my regular job, right? A lot of our clients do this as a side hustle. So they're selling maybe, $5,000 of tickets a month or something like that, and trying to generate some extra revenue off their job. Others, of our clients are small businesses where they may have 1 to 5, employees. So, if you're looking for a better way to distribute your tickets, if you have season tickets or if you're kind of looking to get into this industry, most people start out kind of selling through a single website, like StubHub or Vivid Seats. And then, as they grow, they want more tools or more distributions. And then that's where we kind of come in. So, I think if people are looking to kind of do this as a side hustle or are already established as a ticket broker, they can come to our website, which is ticketattendant.com, and learn more about how we work. There's a quick form you can fill out there, and then somebody on our team will follow up.
You guys operate only United States or internationally?
We primarily sell tickets for North America. We do have some clients who sell tickets for overseas. For example, the Oasis brothers are about to start. I don't know if you've heard about that. I think you said you're in the UK or from the UK, but they're about to do a UK tour after 10 years of hating each other for 10 years. And so, our clients will buy that. We have some clients who are in, international areas. We have some clients in Indonesia, or some clients in the UK, but primarily our company are, I would say 95% of our clients are North American based, 95% of the time of that selling tickets for North American events. But there is that international footprint, whether it's in London's a really popular one, you get Adele, you get, U2 or Coldplay, at the O2 there. And there's always a good demand as well. So also with you get the international, like the football games, right? So Manchester United and all of those. We see
hot,
yeah, and then, every country has kind of different policies, and so that's where international is sometimes a little bit more difficult because of regulations. Just in the US, we're very comfortable and familiar with the laws here. But obviously, if you start transacting tickets in Brazil, they have a totally different consumer policy than the United States. And so you have to navigate that. So right now, mostly US, but there's definitely been some talk in the industry kind of, as markets mature overseas, expanding that way.
Yeah. Like if you're gonna go abroad, go to UK. We help you out. Yeah. Okay.
I'll look you up.
Thank you so much, Brian, for your time. And this has been amazing, the broadcast. I wish you the best in your company. And for you guys following this broadcast on Unstoppable, see you in our next episode. How brave entrepreneurs like Brian break that wall, overcome adversity, and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Bye, Harry. Thanks so much.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.